Rami Malek's career trajectory from indie darlings to blockbuster triumphs has always been defined by an underdog tenacity that mirrors the characters he inhabits. His latest venture, the historical drama Nuremberg, exemplifies this drive, as Malek reveals he aggressively campaigned for the role that reignited his early career fire. In an exclusive conversation at a recent screening event, the Bohemian Rhapsody Oscar winner didn't mince words about the lengths he went to secure the part. "I put myself out there, and I'm sure there were a number of other actors up for the role, but I really tracked it down and I fought for it," he shared, his eyes alight with the thrill of the chase. This wasn't passive auditioning, it was a deliberate hunt, a reminder of the scrappy days when every gig felt like a lifeline. For Malek, embodying Douglas Kelley, a U.S. Army psychiatrist tasked with probing the psyche of Nazi High Commander Hermann Göring during the post-World War II Nuremberg trials, the project stirred something profound. The film, adapted from Joseph E. Persico's 2013 book The Nazi and the Psychiatrist, plunges into the moral quagmire of justice and madness. Malek's Kelley isn't just an observer, he's the intellectual linchpin conducting interviews to assess Göring's sanity for trial. Played with brooding intensity by Russell Crowe, Göring emerges as a charismatic monster, convicted of crimes against humanity, sentenced to hang, only to cheat the noose with a cyanide suicide on the eve of execution. The story's tension lies in the cat and mouse between interrogator and interrogated, exploring how evil masquerades as rationale. What drew Malek in wasn't just the script's intellectual heft but the visceral echo of his own beginnings. "It reminded me of my youth when the small jobs would come in and you were just so elated, and just to have that emotion, that it hadn't died, was enough to tell me, wow, it's a magical art form that we get to be a part of, and it's exceptionally profound when you get a story like this," he reflected. Those nascent struggles, hustling for bit parts, pouring soul into auditions with no guarantee, fueled his pursuit of Nuremberg. In an industry where connections often eclipse talent, Malek's proactive stance was a throwback to grit, a refusal to let opportunity slip. Co-stars like Michael Shannon and John Slattery, alongside luminaries such as Candice Bergen and Judd Hirsch at the screening, underscored the project's prestige, yet Malek's hunger set him apart. The historical backdrop of the Nuremberg trials, where Allied forces held Nazi architects accountable for atrocities that scarred the 20th century, adds layers of urgency. Malek admits his pre-book knowledge was surface level. "I think I knew as much as anybody did who studied history. But diving into Persico's narrative was transformative. I was immediately taken," he said, captivated by the psychological duels and ethical dilemmas. The trials weren't mere legal proceedings, they were a reckoning with humanity's darkest impulses, prosecuting not just war crimes but the machinery of propaganda and genocide. Göring, Hitler's right hand and Luftwaffe chief, embodied this horror, his trial testimony a masterclass in deflection, blaming subordinates while reveling in his ideology. Kelley's role, blending psychiatry with justice, forced Malek to navigate uncharted emotional terrain, humanizing a man confronting unimaginable evil. Filming opposite Crowe must have been electric, a clash of titans where Malek's introspective precision met the veteran's bombastic flair. Their scenes, laden with verbal sparring and silent standoffs, promised to be the film's pulse. Malek's preparation likely involved exhaustive research, immersing in archival footage, psychological profiles, and the era's moral ambiguities. What emerges is a performance poised to peel back the layers of post-war trauma, questioning how one measures sanity amid insanity. For Malek, it's more than acting. It's a conduit for exploring resilience, much like his Freddie Mercury portrayal blended vulnerability with virtuosity. This role cements Malek's pivot towards substantive, history-infused fare, following Oppenheimer's cerebral intensity. Nuremberg isn't popcorn fodder. It's a deliberate excavation of accountability, timely in an age of rising authoritarian echoes. Malek's fight for it speaks to his ethos: art as provocation, roles as reckonings. As screenings buzz with anticipation, his story inspires proof that persistence, not pedigree, forges legacies.